Hello, Dee.
Ah, yes.
So, how has your day been so far?
Um, yeah, pretty much the same as usual. How about you?
Well, not my typical. I was up earlier than usual, and I have bread that's going to be finished around 3 o'clock in the bread maker.
Oh my. Oh, does it stop automatically or
It stays warm for 30 minutes afterwards and then cuts off.
I didn't even think about your bread. Okay.
Well, I only have to sit there for the first half an hour till I add the cheese. I can leave it alone.
Yum. And how long do you leave it alone before you start eating it?
Oh, it takes about 3.5 hours.
Really? Do you
But
eat it right as it comes out of the
yeah.
oven? I would too. Oh my gosh. Especially after smelling it. Oh Lord, I bet it has your house smelling so good.
It drives Merlin crazy.
So birds can smell. Look at there. See? Never knew.
So you don't know what we're doing today. It's a complete surprise to you, except I did mention the Disney princesses.
Oh, yes. And I have no idea, other than the Disney princesses, which I have no idea what direction that's going to take us.
All right. So let me begin by asking you if you've ever heard of Project Gutenberg.
I feel like I have, but I would not be able to tell you what it is.
All right. Project Gutenberg was started in 1971 by Michael S. Hart, who was a student at the University of Illinois, and he was given access to the mainframe computer, and he decided he wanted to do something that was a real contribution. So he decided to digitize books so that people could access them for free.
Well, that's right. You told me about the Project Gutenberg where you can read books and or download. Yes. Yay. That's yeah.
The very first document that he digitized was the US Declaration of Independence, which I think is an excellent first choice. What do you think?
I think that's a great first choice. Yes. Was he testing the system?
Yep. He was testing the system, and basically, volunteers got involved. It was pretty difficult at first because it was only 1989 when image scanners and optical character recognition software became available.
When was this?
1989 when optical scanners were available.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but it now has more than 50,000 free books, most of which are in the public domain. Although some books have been donated by the authors. And so Project Gutenberg didn't violate the copyright by putting them online.
Nice.
Yeah. So why are we talking about Project Gutenberg?
That's what you have just mentally come down the street, around the corner, and went into my mind because those were my exact words. What does that have to do
with the Disney princesses?
You just freaked me out. Yes.
Okay. I found an article online by Billy Gates on KXAN. And it turns out that as of January 1st this year, a certain important book has now come into the public domain. It's no longer owned by Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's, I think, pretty exciting.
This sounds, I'm kind of thinking of the Disney back in the VCR days, how they would release every 5 years or whatever it is. It's come out of the vault and they made it available to the public, the VCR tapes or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
This is the same
Concept.
Oh, cool.
So Disney no longer has exclusive rights to Winnie the Pooh.
Really?
As of January 1st this year. Yep.
Where did this even come from? How did you find this out? Was it like a notification?
I think I was just looking at Gutenberg and did a search.
That's amazing. Oh, well, that just is going right along with what I'm thinking. So anyways, okay, sorry.
All right. From my perspective, it's troublesome that Disney still owns Tigger for 2 more years.
Ah, You're the Tigger.
Well, it was my nickname when I was a child, and I'm really affronted by the fact that Disney owns this.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh gosh. I loved all those characters.
Well, I have more of a bias against Disney than I'm in favor of it.
Mhm.
I do remember in childhood every Sunday night and enjoying Tinker
Yeah,
Bell.
the magical world of Disney, 7 p.m. Sunday nights.
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's a very fond memory, but that seems very different from the Disney of today, which is a huge conglomerate. And apparently, until January 1st, they owned Pooh Bear, Eeyore, Rabbit, Piglet, Kangaroo, Owl, and Christopher Robin.
Oh, wow. And I loved Piglet. He was so cute when I was little. I think I used to draw him.
Oh,
So, okay, so for 2 more years, they're going to own these things or they're done?
well, no, Winnie the Pooh is available to us to use any way we want to now, but Tigger is off limits
Oh,
for years.
you're kidding. So you mean they are releasing characters and not the whole.
The book, the characters, people can now use them however they want.
Oh, good. So, okay, I was thinking they only released Winnie the Pooh and the rest of his friends weren't going to be released for a while. So good. All of them are released.
Yeah, all but Tigger.
Really?
Bambi's not released yet, but Bambi is too horrifying to think about. I don't want to cry on a podcast.
Aw. Well, wait a second.
So,
Tigger isn't he one of the characters?
yeah, a later character
I
came out
didn't realize.
later on. Somehow
Okay.
they'd managed to hold on to that copyright. But
Wow.
what do you think about a company that takes a book from our childhood with characters that are very sentimental for us and, holds copyright of it? I mean, the family had a right to sell the copyright to the company, and I hope they made a lot of money, but Disney
Yeah.
affects me sometimes just because of, guess why? The Disney princesses.
Why? They had a little baby girl?
Well, no, the Disney princesses, there's so many problems associated with them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking me, guess why they started writing stories about Disney princesses. I thought maybe Disney, the family, had a baby girl and they wanted to write things for her. Never mind. Yeah.
Well, if that was what they were doing, they might have taken a few more things into consideration.
I know, right?
So, I don't know the name. I'm not an expert on this, and I don't know the names of all the Disney princesses, but I do remember being a little upset that your little girl was watching them.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought it was something that you needed to have a conversation about afterwards.
Yes. And you know what? I remember you being upset and I was like, all right, it's just a little thing. It's okay. I get it. But and I am familiar with most of the princesses because I have two daughters and my oldest is 30. So I've been, well, plus myself. I mean, I didn't know if they were Disney or what, but they were princesses, Snow White and what was another big one? Cinderella when I was little. And what was the other one? Sleeping Beauty. Those were the princesses when I was little. But I remember when my oldest daughter started watching the princesses, what was out? I think it was Little Mermaid at that point, I think. But then our all-time favorite and my new favorite from when I was a kid became Beauty and the Beast. And I still, to this day, love Belle. Not that,
Yeah.
I don't like her yellow dress and her little blonde hair and all that other stuff, which is fine. But I love the fact, she used to read books and just the music is so great. But anyway. Okay. So yes, I remember you having that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to point out that their waists are impossibly small and that, they've been sexualized and
Oh gosh, yeah.
like the Little Mermaid was 16, and typically the goal in life for a woman is to find a man and then you're happy ever after.
So you know what? When I was
ethnic stereotypes and gender stereotypes.
Well, the ethnic stereotypes I am well aware of, and until I think it was the Frog Prince, but still that one, it just seemed, because the princess in the Frog Prince, I think that was the name of it, she actually she was African American. But the whole, if you compare, in my opinion, and had I known about this podcast before we started talking about it, I may have looked this stuff up. But anyways,
Sorry.
that's okay. No, this is fun. The Princess and the Frog Prince, it was a different story, than if you take all the other princesses that I have watched and my kids have watched, which aren't all of them. I'm sure there's something else out there that's similar, but from my little perspective, it's like, yay, there's an African American princess, but it's not the same, happily. Well, it said happily ever after. It just has got a different feel to it than the other princess stories. The other princess stories, I don't know, that's just from my memory of watching it how many ever years ago. But anyway.
So you were into princesses when you were a little girl.
I was, which, those three that I had mentioned were the ones that I remember, emulating. I had gotten, now, okay, this is kind of an embarrassing story, but this is me as a kid. I was totally into the fantasy world and totally into the princesses, and I loved animals. And I wanted to be Isis. Remember Isis on Saturday mornings? Hold on.
You're a little younger than me, but yes, I do recall.
Well, yeah, that was my outside play when I was in my room playing when my pajamas, because I always had to go to bed earlier than everybody else. I had got a long nightgown that was yellow and it had these weird little stretchy puffy sleeves. Anyways, it was, in my opinion, because it was a long gown, very princess-esque. So when I had to go to bed at night, which, still light out and everything, I remember twirling around in my room in that it was actually pretty ugly looking back at it because it was yellow and it wasn't like flowy, it was just cotton. But anyway, I remember
You felt pretty.
I would like put my hand up to my forehead and pretend to faint so that my Prince Charming would come and save me.
Ew.
And I know, but I just thought, oh, that's so beautiful when I was growing up. So I actually entered and that whole happily ever after, Prince Charming, which I think I'm not unique in this. I think it sets girls up for disappointment. There you go. Because there is no happily ever after all the time, and there is no Prince Charming all the time. Not forever anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't want to take it down a different road because that was one of my when I realized that I sound bitter. I'm not bitter.
You're not. You're a romantic for sure.
Yeah, but when when I had my first real relationship and this, that, and the other, and knight in shining armor, and and that was actually, I was a little older than most of my friends that had relationships, but that I felt so disappointed when reality kicked in. So and yeah, exactly. I mean, I was devastated, actually. I said so disappointed, but it goes much deeper. But anyways,
when I was little, I used to put myself to sleep by making up stories because I got put to bed too early too.
Yeah.
And it was a sudden realization that as the female, I had to be the one who was rescued in an adventure.
Right.
Story. And it upset me terribly.
I can see that.
I grew up with Dudley Do-Right, and his girlfriend was always being tied to the railroad tracks. And I don't think that's Disney, but still.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of gender stereotyping. It really, I got angry. I don't know how old I was, 9, maybe 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is a boring thing to have to think about. Or you think about Cinderella and it ends with a dance. All right. So you're dancing, you're
Yeah,
dancing. Now, how boring is that?
I know, but the clothes and everybody's wearing sparkly shoes and their dresses are all poofy and twirly. It's just wonderful. I'm serious. That was the good part. But
I
I
couldn't.
want to say, just to clear my name, it wasn't all about princesses, because when I was playing outside with the neighbors, this was when I was by myself, playing outside with the neighbors, cowboys and Indians. I was usually the Indian, and I could not be captured. So there you go.
So there.
Yes. So there, Disney.
But the thing is, with like, there's been quite a bit of research on the Disney princesses and the effects on children. For one thing, little girls who are very into the Disney princesses appear to have lower body self image
Really?
later on. Yeah. Plus, and that was Coyne and et al. 2016, if I remember, plus other researchers. But they've also looked at who does most of the speaking in these Disney movies. And even though it's a heroine who's the focus of the movie, it's the men in the movie that speak more.
Really?
Yeah, you look at just the, time spent speaking, and the men outweigh the women
That's
mostly, for the
interesting.
most part.
See, I've never looked at that, because I've always looked at the fact that, like Belle in Beauty and the Beast, she's either talking or singing. I wonder if singing counts. But anyways, I never realized that.
Well, I appreciated you letting me have a talk with your daughter after I got her
Yeah,
watching.
I know. Well, I kind of went in one direction with my oldest, which was, there is no happy ending. There is no Prince Charming. Don't even think about it. And I realized after the fact that I'm taking away all the magic, because I was so traumatized by the fact that this was not real. But not traumatized, but anyway, so I realized how harsh I was being with my oldest daughter, and it was like I was like sucking out every bit of joy that there could be. So anyways, with the daughter that we had these discussions and stuff, I was actually
Letting me suck out the joy.
right, but you didn't do it nearly as bad as I did. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But you did a good job mentioning, the gender studies and yeah, you did. Because my with my oldest daughter, it was not very research based and scientific. At least with my middle child, my youngest daughter, you gave her statistics, probably knowing you. But yeah, I mean, you were, yes. So
I have some colleagues who are crazy about Disney.
oh yeah,
and have been for years. And these are adults.
yeah.
And I just view the company as, and I could be wrong, but I just view them as really, really greedy.
Oh yeah. But I mean, and I don't know how, well, I don't know actually, as far as over the years, but the Barbie, that's the same kind of situation. But I think it had something to do with maybe the time that these all these came about, although the stories themselves are probably, gosh, how far back do they go? Like the 30s, the 20s, the
Yeah.
10s? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm interested in seeing the evolution there, as far as
Don't make me do research on Barbie dolls.
Oh, no, I'm talking about still with the Disney, because the help, what's her name? Doolittle or whatever, Dudley Doolittle?
Do right.
Do right. There we go.
Of the Royal Canadian Mounties.
Wow. Yeah, that really interests me to see evolution, the way society moves, and then what is pushing what, I mean, are these things coming out because this is what the people want?
Well, it's
Or
a lot of men in charge who think this is what women should be, that you should be very sexy and searching for a man at the age of 16 and
I would never do well back in those
the
days.
Little Mermaid.
Back in those days, I think I would have been shunned.
You made me snort.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no. Yeah,
so
'cause I remember, yeah.
can you guess what we're actually doing today? What we're here to do?
Um,
As in Winnie the Pooh?
well, I do know Winnie the Pooh, the characters were each one of them, I have been told, was like had a certain mental disorder or mental condition. Did you hear that too?
No, I did not.
Yes, Tigger, ADD. Eeyore had, what is that where it's not,
Major depression.
no, it was that mid, where you're not depressed, you're just, I looked it up too. Oh, shoot. Oh, what's his face? Winnie the Pooh had an eating disorder. Piglet.
You're ruining it for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's not talk
No,
about
I'm kidding. You're not, because actually I'm delighted by thinking about that. I think that it's great when children books show that people or animals are lovable, even though they have some sort of
That's right.
difference. I'm not even going to call it a flaw.
No, it isn't a flaw.
So,
Yeah.
we're reading Winnie the Pooh right now.
Are we really?
I emailed you a copy of the book, just the first chapter.
Oh, yay. Oh no, we
So
can
there,
talk for a long time.
public
Hold on a second.
domain.
Hold on. You emailed a copy. 1 second.
Or you can just go to the Project Gutenberg and look it up.
All right. Let me look. Zoom. See, I have you under VIPs. So all I have to do is click VIPs and it will filter everything that you have said. Does that make you feel good? You're a VIP.
I know, I was impressed.
Yeah.
So I actually sent you.
Oh, here it is.
Twice. You want the one that lets you read it on a web page.
Okay.
It's the most recent. I think I said it last night again.
Yes, this is .htm and it is loading. Project Gutenberg ebook for Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. Release date 2022.
Published in 1926, I believe. Really, what kind of corporation is going to say they own, a beloved children's book?
Okay, yeah, I know. Well, it's all about money, I think. I don't know. Chapter 1. Aw, poor Pooh.
All right, so you're ready, huh?
Yeah, I was just looking at the little.
Go to the page that's chapter 1, in which we're introduced to Winnie the Pooh and some bees, and the stories begin. And it's a picture of Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh going down the stairs.
Let me see. Oh, that's not it. Wait a second. Oh, there they are. Yep.
All right. So I'm older, so I'm going to be the adult here.
Well, does that mean
Robin?
Okay, I'll be Christopher Robin.
Yeah, for the first part. Then I become Christopher Robin and you become Pooh.
Okay.
You get to be Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, I know he had a funny little, I'm not doing voices. I'm just merely reading. Okay.
Oh, come now.
I can't because you know what? I forgot what he sounded like, but he had such a funny little voice.
That's the Disney version.
Oh, okay.
Winnie the Pooh sound like he should sound to you.
Oh, okay, dokie.
All right. Chapter 1, in which we're introduced to Winnie the Pooh and some bees, and the stories begin. Here is Edward Bear coming downstairs now. Bump, bump, bump on the back of his head behind Christopher Robin. It is, as far as he knows, the only way of coming downstairs, but sometimes he feels there really is another way, if only he could stop bumping for a moment and think of it. And then he feels that perhaps there isn't. Anyhow, here he is at the bottom and ready to be introduced to you, Winnie the Pooh. When I first heard his name, I said just as you're going to say, but I thought he was a boy.
So did I, said Christopher Robin.
Then you can't call him Winnie?
I don't.
But you said.
He's Winnie the Pooh. Don't you know what there means?
Ah, yes, now I do, I said quickly, and I hope you do too, because it is all the explanation you're going to get. Sometimes Winnie the Pooh likes a game of some sort when he comes downstairs, and sometimes he likes to sit quietly in front of the fire and listen to a story. This evening,
What about a story? Said Christopher Robin.
What about a story? I said.
Could you very sweetly tell Winnie the Pooh one?
I suppose I could, I said. What sort of stories does he like?
Well, about himself, because he's that sort of bear.
Oh, I see.
So could you try very sweetly?
I'll try, I said. So I tried. Once upon a time, a very long time ago now, about last Friday, Winnie the Pooh lived in a forest all by himself under the name of Sanders.
What does the name, well, excuse me, what does under the name mean? Asked Christopher Robin.
It means he had the name over the door in gold letters and lived under it.
Winnie the Pooh wasn't quite sure, said, okay.
Mhm. Try that again.
Okay, I will, because you know what? I don't ever remember reading Winnie the Pooh. Okay, believe it or not. Wait a second. Where am I? It means he had a name over the door. Winnie the Pooh wasn't quite sure, said Christopher Robin. No, I am.
Said a growly voice. Let's do that one together.
Okay.
No,
I am, said a
growling voice.
growling voice. Oh, Lord. Of course. There you go.
I don't know who says this. I'll say it. Then I will go on, said I. One day when he was out walking, he came to an open place in the middle of the forest. In the middle of this place was a large oak tree. And from the top of the tree, there came a loud buzzing noise. Winnie the Pooh sat down at the foot of the tree, put his head between his paws, and began to think. You're Pooh now.
Okay. First of all, he said to himself, that buzzing means something. You don't get buzzing noise like that, just buzzing and buzzing without it meaning something. If there's a buzzing noise, somebody's making a buzzing noise. And the only reason for making a buzzing noise that I know of is because you're a bee. Then he thought for another long time and said, and the only reason for being a bee that I know of is making honey. And then he got up and said, and the only reason for making honey is so I can eat it. And he began to climb the tree. He climbed and he climbed and he climbed. And as he climbed, he sang a little song to himself. And it went like this. Oh, Lord. Funny how a bear likes honey. Buzz, buzz, buzz. I wonder why he does. Okay. Then you could, your turn. Oh, you stopped laughing at me.
Go ahead.
Okay, then he climbed a little further and a little further, and then just a little further. By that time he had thought of another song, because of course he did. It's a very funny thought that if bears were bees, they'd build their nests at the bottom of the trees. And that being so, if the bees were bears, we shouldn't have to climb up all these stairs. He was getting rather tired by this time, so that was why he sang a complaining song. He was nearly there now, and if he just stood on that branch, crack! Oh, help, said Pooh, as he dropped 10 feet on the branch below him. Oh, if only I hadn't, he said, as he bounced 20 feet to the next branch. You see, what I meant to do, he explained, as he turned head over heels and crashed on another branch 30 feet below. What I meant to do, of course, it was rather, he admitted, as he slithered very quickly through the next 6 branches. It all comes, I suppose, he decided, as he said goodbye to the last branch, spun around 3 times and flew gracefully into a gorse bush. It all comes of liking honey so much. Oh, help! He crawled out of the gorse bush, brushed the prickles from his nose, and began to think again. And the first person he thought of was Christopher Robin.
Was that bee? Said Christopher Robin in an awed voice, hardly daring to believe it.
That was you?
Christopher Robin said nothing, but his eyes got larger and larger and his face got pinker and pinker. So Winnie the Pooh went round to his friend Christopher Robin, who lived behind a green door in another part of the forest.
Good morning, Christopher Robin, he said.
Good morning, Winnie the Pooh, said you.
I wonder if you've got such a thing as a balloon about you?
A balloon?
Yes, I just said to myself coming along, I wonder if Christopher Robin has such a thing as a balloon about him. I just said it to myself, thinking of balloons and wondering.
What do you want a balloon for? You said.
Winnie the Pooh looked around to see that nobody was listening. He put his paw to his mouth and said in a deep whisper, honey.
But you don't get honey with balloons.
I do, said Boo.
Well, it just happened that you had been to a party the day before at the house of your friend Piglet, and you had balloons at the party. You had had a big green balloon, and one of Rabbit's relations had had a big blue one and had left it behind, being really too young to go to a party at all. And so you had brought the green one and the blue one home with you. Which one would you like? You asked Pooh.
He put his head between his paws and thought very carefully. It's like this, he said. When you go after honey with a balloon, the great thing is not to let the bees know you're coming. Now, if you have a green balloon, they might think you were only part of the tree and not notice you. And if you have a blue balloon, they might think that you were part of the sky and not notice you. And the question is, which is most likely? Wouldn't they?
That's my part.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they notice you underneath the balloon, you asked?
They might or they might not, said Winnie the Pooh. You never can tell with bees. He thought for a moment and said, I shall try to look like a small black cloud. That will deceive them.
And you had better have the blue balloon, you said, and so it was decided. Well, you both went out with the blue balloon and you took your gun with you just in case, as you always did. And Winnie the Pooh went to a very muddy place that he knew of and rolled until he was black all over. And then when the balloon was blown up as big, and you and Pooh were both holding on to the string, you let go suddenly, and Pooh Bear floated gracefully up into the sky and stayed there, level with the top of the tree and about 20 feet away from it.
Hooray!
Isn't that fine? Oops.
Isn't that fine? Shouted Winnie the Pooh. What do I look like?
You look like a bear holding on to a balloon, you said.
Not like a small black cloud in a blue sky?
Not very much.
Ah, well, perhaps up here it looks different. And as I say, you never can tell with bees.
There was no wind to blow him nearer to the tree, so there he stayed. He could see the honey, he could smell the honey, but he couldn't quite reach the honey. After a little while, he called down to you.
Christopher Robin. Hello. I think the bees suspect something.
What sort of thing?
I don't know, but something tells me they're suspicious.
Perhaps they think you're after their honey.
It may be that. You never can tell with bees.
There was another little silence, and then he called down to you again.
Christopher Robin.
Yes.
Have you an umbrella in your house?
I think so.
I wish you could bring it out here and walk up and down with it and look up at me every now and then and say, tut, tut, it looks like rain. I think if you did that, it would help the deception we are practicing on these bees.
Well, you laughed to yourself, silly old bear, but you didn't say it aloud because you were so fond of him, and you went home for your umbrella.
Oh, there you are, called down Winnie the Pooh. As soon as you got back to the tree, I was beginning to get anxious. I have discovered that the bees are now definitely suspicious.
Shall I put my umbrella up, you said?
Yes, but wait a moment. We must be practical. The important bee to deceive is the queen bee. Can you see which is the queen bee from down there?
No.
A pity. Well, now, if you walk up and down with your umbrella saying, tut, tut, it looks like rain, I shall do what I can by singing a little cloud song, such as a cloud might sing. Go.
So while you walked up and down and wondered if it would rain, Winnie the Pooh sang this song.
Oh no. How sweet to be a cloud floating in the blue. Every little cloud always sings aloud. How sweet to be a cloud floating in the blue. It makes him very proud to be a little cloud.
The bees were still buzzing as suspiciously as ever. Some of them, indeed, left their nests and flew all around the cloud as it began the second verse of this song, and one bee sat down on the nose of the cloud for a moment and then got up again.
Christopher. Oh, Robin, called out the cloud.
Yes?
I have just been thinking, and I have come to a very important decision. These are the wrong sort of bees.
Are they?
Quite the wrong sort. So I should think they would make the wrong sort of honey, shouldn't you?
Would they?
Yes. So I think I shall come down.
How? Asked you.
Winnie the Pooh hadn't thought about this. If he let go of the string, he would fall, bump, and he didn't like the idea of that. So he thought for a long time, and then he said, Christopher Robin, you must shoot the balloon with your gun. Have you got your gun?
Of course I have, you said, but if I do that, it will spoil the balloon, you said.
But if you don't, said Pooh, I shall have to let go, and that would spoil me.
When he put it like this, you saw how it was, and you aimed very carefully at the balloon and fired.
Oh, said Pooh.
Did I miss, you asked?
You didn't exactly miss, said Pooh, but you missed the balloon.
I'm so sorry, you said, and you fired again. And this time you hit the balloon, and the air came slowly out, and Winnie the Pooh floated to the ground. But his arms were so stiff from holding on to the string of the balloon all that time that they stayed up straight in the air for more than a week. And whenever a fly came and settled on his nose, he had to blow it off. And I think, but I'm not sure, that is why he was always called Pooh.
Is that the end of the story? Asked Christopher Robin. This is your part.
That's the end of that one. There are others.
About Pooh and me?
And Piglet and Rabbit and all of you. Don't you remember?
I do remember. And then when I try to remember, I forget.
That day when Pooh and Piglet tried to catch the heffalump?
They didn't catch it, did they?
No.
Pooh couldn't because he hasn't any brain. Did I catch it?
Well, that comes into the story.
Nodding. I do remember, only Pooh doesn't very well, and that's why he likes having it told to him again, because then it's a real story and not just a remembering. That's
That's just how I feel, I said. Christopher Robin gave a deep sigh, picked his bear up by the leg, and walked off to the door, trailing Pooh behind him. At the door, he turned and said, "Coming to see me have my bath?"
I might.
I
said. Sorry.
I didn't hurt him when I shot him, did I?
Not a bit. Not a
He nodded and went out, and in a moment I heard Winnie the Pooh bump, bump, bump.
Going up the stairs behind him.
Yay.
That is such a cute little story.
You didn't read this to your children?
I did not. I was the Dr. Seuss mom.
Oh, yeah. Well, I loved that too. That was good.
Yeah, that's what we did. Yeah. But I love this story. He's so cute. And I seem to remember the tune to him pretending to be a little cloud in the Disney movie. So
But we can't sing. Well, I don't
remember how it goes, as you can tell.
I enjoyed your version of it much more.
That is so funny. Yay. Well, there you go. Since January 1st, we're allowed to do these things, aren't we?
We are. That was our little Winnie the Pooh celebration.
Yay. Well, it's, yeah. This was unplanned and fun. So, maybe one day if I have grandbabies, I get to read them Winnie the Pooh.
I hope you do.
I do too. I do. Because now I have to look at the rest of it when we're done.
Yes, I know. I sent you the whole book.
I see it. Thank you. That is
You're
wonderful.
very welcome.
I have to mentally leave Pooh Land now.
I
Okay,
know.
let me close this tab so I don't keep looking at these little sketches because they're so awfully cute.
I know.
Oh,
Excellent book. Excellent.
yes, fun. Oh, they're
So
so sweet.
until our next meeting on Zoom.
Yes, until our next meeting. I'll see if I can figure out how to surprise you.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. It was very brave of you.
It was very fun. And I love these sketches. I'm gonna draw them again.
Yeah, you might end up doing some illustrating.
There we go. I like drawing.
I know you do.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to
Talk
you
to you
later.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.